Now, if you get to the point where you go before a judge and one party says, look, I'm not paying support, there's a trust fund set up, why do we need support? And the other says, I want the support, the court will decide that issue. Hey everybody, Attorney Kyle Kaufman, hkklawoffices.com. We're family law attorneys in the state of Wisconsin, and we make educational videos for people like you. In today's video, I am going to tackle a user's question about child support and a trust fund and a party's willingness to pay support. But before I get into that, I want to remind you that if you like what we're doing here, please subscribe to our channel, like it, leave some comments, let us know how we're doing, okay? So we love family law here. That's all that we do. And we really enjoy bringing this content to you. I have a user, I'm going to read the question and then we're going to reply to it here in this video. So the question is, or statement is, my soon-to-be ex-husband is refusing to pay child support due to the fact our son has a trust fund even when he makes twice as much as I do. Okay, all right, so more of a statement than a question, but a good thing to highlight. Okay, so number one, two parties can negotiate child support and come up with what they think an appropriate amount of child support is, and then present that to the court. Ultimately, the court, the judge, has to make a judgment, right? And it sounds like that, right? You know, look at it, they stamp it and say, yes, I agree. Okay, so the judge has to make sure that what you're proposing for child support makes sense. But the ultimate authority on what that final dollar amount is really comes from the judge. He could approve of the agreement or he could not. So number one, in this user scenario, it sounds as if one party says, I don't want to pay support, and the other says, I want you to pay support, or isn't clear if they want it or not. And the judge has to approve something. So either you need to agree, support, or an amount or not, and if you don't agree, the judge will decide it for you, okay? Now, if you get to the point where you go before a judge and one party says, look, I'm not paying support, there's a trust fund set up, why do we need support? And the other says, I want the support, the court will decide that issue. In Wisconsin, there's some guidance on what we do with trust funds. So first off, in reviewing support, the court is going to start, though, with the analysis, again, of what's the placement schedule, how many kids are involved, what is the income of the parties, what would the guidelines tell us that child support should be? And then the court's going to say, all right, oh, there's a trust fund. Well, tell me about that. What's the situation there? And the court will probably have some questions. How long has that trust fund been in place? How long have you been actually putting money into the trust fund? Are you doing that? What amount? Okay. And the court will ultimately decide it could make an exception if it finds that there's been a trust fund and the trust fund is set aside for use for the child. But the question is, well, when is that money usable? Right? Is that in the future? Is that what we're talking about? Or are we talking about now? Because child support is designed for basic support costs, housing, food, clothing, shelter, transportation, all of those things. So is that trust fund even appropriate for consideration in child support? It's a whole different thing. So that brings me to the last point. Talk to a lawyer, right? You have to go in, have at least a consultation, 2 to 3 lawyers. Have these conversations, hire a lawyer for your specific situation. Don't make a mistake. Don't make a bad deal and regret it later. Make sure you have proper legal advice. Come to a law firm like ours where we love doing family law and can educate you on this and work with you to get the best possible scenario for you. So I hope you had found some value in this video and you enjoyed it, and we'll be back with more. Thanks.